Welcome to this video. Today we're going to be doing a stock analysis on Rocket Lab USA. Now I'm going to be performing a technical analysis and also a bit of fundamental analysis. Now if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Now for those of you who don't know Rocket Lab USA, it's a company that performs a bit like SpaceX. They launch rockets and satellites and it is the only thing that they do. Now if you look at the technical analysis, it has been quite poor ever since this death cross here, and it has actually taken quite a tumble ever since. Death cross here was at about 27 point no $24.8, and after that it has taken a quite ride down here to almost actually below $20, and now it is stabilizing a bit here at 20.4. Now as you can see here, this big ass green candle meant that the stock was at some point trading all the way down to 16.27, which is quite interesting. This is of course because of the earnings here, which was 15.9% below estimate. Now if we look at it in a bigger picture, we can see that it has recently been performing very well. It was down at here from start of the graph at about $4, and now it's at $20. So it's very nice. Now one of the reasons this has been performing so well, I actually don't know, but it has to be because space exploration and rockets in general are going to be much more interesting, and as there becomes more competition versus companies like SpaceX, it is good to have multiple horses in a race, and Rocket Lab is definitely one of those. Now it is a quite interesting company. They are still losing money all the time, but rocket exploration and stuff like that is really not that easy to do. But as you can see here, they have revenue, and they're still losing money, but as you can see, they're still making quite nice money, and their margins are getting a bit better over time, which is also a positive, very positive sign. Now if we look at the RSI down here, I have a bit of a problem with this one because it is so goddamn choppy. As you can see, it spikes and rises all the time. It had a bit of a stable here. It was actually quite stable in this region here. As you can see, it traded in the upper in this time interval. It traded in the upper most of the time, but besides that, it spikes quite a lot also here recently. When it after its big jump, it was up and down. This is quite a poor signal because this means that the market can't really agree on momentum. It's not up, it's not down, it's sideways, but it's a very choppy sideways. There is little to no support levels here, and as you can see, we even have gaps in the graphs here, which makes it almost impossible to read how well it's been performing. And we have very large wicks on the candles, as you can see here. Now the wicks is this top on the bottoms here, which means that if it was up at this point, then it got pushed down and ended here. So it's very volatile at the moment, so I would be quite wary about getting into the stock, also because their main competitor is SpaceX, and with Elon Musk in the government, I would be very careful having this, because of course we don't know what he's gonna do, and if he even get a say in maybe contracts for NASA or something alike. Now if you look at the graphs of the past years, it has been performing decently, both positive in 23 and 24. Of course last year it was performed at basically 400%, which is very nice. The technical analysis does say it's a sell. That's because after this death cross here, it has fallen almost 30%, and the RSI simply isn't there. Now, if the death cross had performed and it had stabilized around 25 here, it would probably be around neutral. Now, however, the technical might say sell, but the analytics actually says it's a buy. Now, if we look at the forecast here, we can see we have 8 hold, 8 strong buy, 0 buy, and 5 hold. So it's a bit neutral, I would say, because as you can even see, one of the price estimates is 30% below. Then we have one 60% up and 25% up. So the meaning that their analysts can't quite agree is a good and a bad thing. Now the good thing is we have 13 different analysts, which is quite a lot on such a small stock like this, which means it's getting attention from big streets like Citibank, and probably also Blackstone, BlackRock, other big type of companies, maybe JP Morgan, so on and so forth. Now, the bad thing about this is if the recommendation is of many people is a buy, and we still see stuff like this, of course we need some people to be pessimistic, but I really don't like it also. It's just, if you look at the graph here, has really been performing up. So I would not be surprised to see it tumble all the way down back here. Let me just draw you a support line here. Now, as you can see here, once it was trading down here, it was performing sideways a lot, which means of course there is not that much upward momentum, but that does also mean it's not that volatile. Now, I do think it can fall back down here because there are simply no other support levels. So if it fell down here, it would be pure guesswork where it would end up. Some might say this is a support level right here, but it's a very, very little one, and I don't really think it's gonna matter that much. As you can see here, it's just very, very small, and even in it, as you can see here, the candles are very, very small, which means this was before it had a bit more, how can you say, attention on it. So it increased, and then people sort of ran away from it after this increase and before they came back. But then once we got to this price level, it was choppy as hell. Like, this is just the worst technicals I've ever seen. It's up and it's down, and it's always a lot of up and a lot of down. This is a very, very, very poor performance, which is also one of the reasons why this technical analysis says it's a sell. Now, is it going to be a winner in the future? I don't know. Is it interesting? Yes, it is. It is very interesting because there are not that many companies that even have a chance to fight with SpaceX, and Rocket Lab is probably the best guess. This or Blue Origin from SpaceX, no, not SpaceX, Jeff Bezos, but of course, that's not publicly traded, so we can't really speculate on that one. Now, if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.